So excited to be sitting next to Heather Fleece here, and we're going to be talking all sorts of great, fun things around middle school ministry. But before we do, let's hear a little bit about you and where you're serving and kind of how long you've been serving and why in the world middle school students.
Sure. I live in Minnesota. I'm in a southwest suburb of Minneapolis called Eden Prairie. It's where the Minnesota Vikings train, which is very important and not a coincidence. I work at Wooddale Church. I'm in charge of 7th through 9th graders and their families, and I've been there 16 years.
So awesome.
In the same church, in the same ministry. And why do I love middle schoolers? They're not too cool yet. They're energetic. They're resilient. They're funny. They're awkward. And they just want to be loved. And you pay attention to them, and they think you're the greatest thing around.
So just to kind of get a pulse here, anybody here in the room right now in middle school ministry? Anybody? Oh, this is great.
Woo!
This is perfect. See, my original question is why in the world middle school ministry, but now my follow-up question is why in the world the Minnesota Vikings? But we won't spend a lot of time there. We'll keep moving.
Okay.
So
yeah.
working with middle schoolers who have relentless energy,
Yeah.
I'm sure that there's some creative energy that you need to spend when it comes to thinking up ideas
Sure.
as far as what's going to connect, what's going to reach them.
Yeah.
And so kind of give us a little bit of your kind of story into how you brainstorm, how you think up stuff, and then I'd love to hear some of your ideas that you found to work really well.
Okay, great. Well, I fortunately inherited a great program. The guy before me had been there 10 years, so there's a lot of longevity, and he was crazy. And so he came up with some amazing ideas that I'll be sharing with you today that we've just continued. But basically, I've realized that I can't sit at my desk and come up with these creative ideas myself, so I involve my volunteers who all have come from different parts of life. Many of them have come from different youth groups and have great ideas. So for instance, Brian, one of our leaders, came up with the idea of Ice Age for one of our events because he had done it when he was growing up, where everything involved ice. So ice blocks, ice cubes, a huge like iceberg that we built in the youth room, and that was so great. I would never have come up with that idea, but because he had experienced it, he was in the room, we were bouncing ideas off each other, it came to be. So it's always got to be a group of people coming together with different kinds of personalities and different genders and all that kind of stuff.
So when you're out shopping for ice, you probably don't have to go too far in Minnesota. I'm sure it's all the way around. Just go outside, bring it in.
Especially in January. Yeah, we should go out and cut it out from the lakes.
Totally.
Our license plates say we have 10,000 lakes. We actually have closer to 14,000 lakes.
Which you've hand counted, apparently.
Absolutely.
That's
I'm a
so
true
great.
Minnesotan.
So I love this idea of the Ice Age thing, but what was important to you is you found that collaboration is helpful in creativity.
Absolutely.
It's essential, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure.
So a lot of times we think, we've got great ideas, but we're better together when we put our ideas.
Sure, because I have preferences and I have passions.
Yeah.
So if it was only me, we'd be going to the NASCAR tracks. We'd be going to, movies. We'd be doing snowball fights, things like that, the things that I like. But you bring other people into it, and all of a sudden, you've got different kinds of things. And isn't that true of the kids that we minister to? They're all different kinds of personalities, different kind of likes. So absolutely, you got to bring a team into it.
When I first emailed Heather, I said, hey, we're going to talk about these any ideas, inspiration, tips or tricks, things that you've done in middle school ministry. And she sent me this email full of really funny ones. One that stood out to me was this idea of the pillow fight, but it wasn't just any ordinary pillow fight. Tell us this idea, how it came about, and then also why you chose it.
Sure. I didn't choose it. This is one of them I inherited from Greg Wiseman, who's currently at a church in the Bay Area in California. It's called the Strobe Light Pillow Fight Gut Bombing Night. It's basically a junior high boys' living dream. It's a strobe-lit pillow fight that is led up to by a fast food progressive supper.
Are you guys tracking this? I hope you're writing these notes down.
We load the kids up in the vans or up in a bus, and we go around on a fast food progressive supper. So we go to Taco Bell, and we get nachos and cheese. We go across the street to McDonald's, get a large beverage, go to Burger King, get a large fry, go to White Castle to get a bunch of sliders as our main course.
Sounds like a recipe for disaster.
You have no idea because we're working our way up, right? And then we go to maybe Wendy's for a Frosty or Culver's for some yogurt.
Yeah.
And then we go back to the church gym where we have strobe lights, dry ice, cranked up music, garbage cans in every corner. And then we start having massive pillow fights. We literally have to check the pillows as they come in. We've had boys try to sneak in textbooks inside of their pillowcases. So we check them, and then we have organized mass chaos and we have had kids vomit in the name of Jesus.
So they pass through airport security. They get their bags checked. And then there's all this fun afterwards, and I can imagine that the room probably smells awesome afterwards.
It does.
Yeah.
Sweaty vomit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Janitor's a big fan of all this. I love this idea, the strobe light pillow fight gut bombing night.
Yeah, and you can do it. It doesn't matter the size of your group, as long as you have got some fast food restaurants in your town.
Yeah.
I go in advance. I go meet the manager, assure them that I'm not looking for anything for free.
Yeah.
And tell them the day I'm coming in and how many kids I might be having, that we'll have plenty of chaperones. We won't even dirty their lobby because we go in and we go out, we shove it in, and we get back in the vehicle. It's super cheap. We do it for $10, and we usually make money.
Yeah.
Which is great.
I love
and
this idea.
Kids are so excited when they leave. And our primary goal in doing events like this, Seth, is that kids can invite their friends. Their friends love it. And they get off the bus or out of the van and they go, "This is your church?"
Yeah. Yeah.
And then the kid goes, yeah,
Yeah.
you should come back on a Wednesday night. It's
Yeah.
awesome.
That's
So
so
we
cool.
actually call them pre-evangelistic events.
I like that
Because they
term.
have nothing to do with spiritual things at all. I don't want to pretend that I sit the kids down after the pillow fight and we talk about how, there's sin in your life that you need to purge, like vomit. And Jesus is the only one who can help you do that. There's nothing like that. It's simply good, clean, awesome, high caloric fun.
I love the parallel of sin to White Castle. That was great. So another idea that I want to get to is the slipper formal.
Yeah.
And tell us a little bit about this, and again, why.
Sure. The Slipper Formal is an event where my 7th through 9th graders get dressed up in the fanciest thing that they own, can buy cheap at a thrift store, or can borrow from like a cousin. So imagine old prom dresses from cousins or older sisters that my girls get. My boys go to thrift stores and get the polyester Napoleon Dynamite tuxes. I had a boy named Jason who actually found one on eBay for $30, powder blue with a top hat and a cane that he
perfect.
worked it out. Okay, so they wear their fanciest thing, formal, but then they wear their slippers. And we have a runway show that we do that we invite the parents to right at the beginning of the night. And they come and sport their stuff. And we have an old spotlight from the media guys that we get. And we crank up YMCA or some other fun music. And then we take them out in public. So this is the beautiful thing. Middle schoolers will do anything as long as they are together in a group. Yeah. And so we have the Mall of America in Minneapolis, just 20 minutes from our church.
You might have heard of it.
It's the most popular public place around.
Yeah.
And so we bring our kids in there, and everyone is staring at them and like laughing, but they always come up and ask what's going on. And my junior hires love it. And then we get a wristband, and they get unlimited rides for the amusement park.
That's
and we
so
eat
fun.
there, and there again, another chance to have friends come to something that's exceptional.
Yeah.
It's different. They don't do that on their own on a weekend night.
I feel like we're kind of just scratching the surface here. I think there's more ideas. This is great.
Sure.
You're not just an ambassador for middle school ministry, you're ambassador for the state of Minnesota. This is fantastic. But if people are kind of interested in kind of following up with you or reading more of the stuff you've done, you've written some books, and there's a new one coming out.
Yeah, I've got one called, it's actually a book for teenagers. It's called That's What She Said, That's What He Said. Every teenager's guide to understanding the opposite sex. So
great.
my friend Tom and I wrote it. He wrote to the girls to try to help them understand the mystery of men.
Yeah.
And I wrote to the boys to help them try to understand the mystery of women. And it's super fun, super based in biblical stuff.
Yeah.
And it's been really well received by kids and parents alike. I found that grandparents and parents want good stuff in regards to relationships and sex in the hands of their kids.
Yeah.
So that's been really fun. And then I've got a website, heatherfleece.org.
Okay.
I'm happy to have you steal anything that we talked about. So I've got timelines and details of all the events that I've just covered. And I'd love to give them to you and let you do them and take credit for them.